Another day, another story. Hey explorers, welcome back to my channel, Eurofacts, where we take a deep dive into some of the most amazing facts about our world. Before we get into today's content, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our community of curious minds. Now, let's get into the top 5 most extreme conditions humans can survive. Fact 1. Extreme cold. Humans can survive in some of the coldest temperatures on Earth. The lowest natural temperature ever directly recorded at ground level on Earth is 89.2 degrees Celsius, 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, at the Soviet Vostok station in Antarctica on July 21, 1983. But people have endured even colder temperatures. In February 1892, a severely malnourished Swedish fur trapper named Erland Linden survived a night outdoors in 47 degrees Celsius, 53 degrees Fahrenheit conditions after a snowstorm ruined his fire. He crawled into a crevasse in the snow to shield himself from the wind. Despite losing both feet to frostbite, Linden lived to tell the tale. The human body has some remarkable adaptations that allow us to survive freezing conditions when properly insulated from the elements. Vasoconstriction reduces blood flow to the extremities to conserve core body heat. Shivering generates warmth through rapid muscle contractions. And lowering metabolism preserves energy. With the right clothing and shelter, the human body can persevere through bitter cold. Just don't try it without the proper precautions. Fact 2. Extreme heat. You might be surprised by just how high temperatures humans are capable of enduring. The hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth was 56.7 degrees Celsius, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, on July 10, 1913 in Furnace Creek, Death Valley, California. But people have survived exposure to even greater heat. One shocking example is a steel worker who fell into a furnace heated to 1700 degree F in 2006. He lost consciousness and suffered burns to 20% of his body, but miraculously survived after just 5 seconds of exposure. The human body has some impressive thermoregulatory abilities that make such feats possible. Sweating provides evaporative cooling. Vasodilation increases blood flow to the skin, transporting warmth to the surface. We can also acclimatize over time to build heat tolerance. However, extreme heat taxes the cardiovascular system and can be deadly in excess. Access to water, shade, and avoidance of strenuous activity are key to survival. With adequate precautions, we can endure some remarkably high temperatures. Just don't try it at home. Fact 3. Lack of oxygen. Low oxygen environments present another threat to human survival. But just how little oxygen can we endure? Well, the summit of Mount Everest has an atmospheric pressure of about 33 kilopascals, equivalent to an oxygen partial pressure of about 7 kilopascals. For comparison, sea level air has an oxygen partial pressure of 21 kilopascals. This means there is only about 1/3 as much oxygen available atop Everest. Yet, people can climb without supplemental oxygen. Despite the hypoxic conditions, the human body acclimatizes by increasing red blood cell production and lung efficiency. However, oxygen levels below 6 kilopascals risk unconsciousness, and prolonged exposure can lead to pulmonary or cerebral edema. So while people can adapt to very low oxygen, there are limits. Generally speaking, an oxygen partial pressure of at least 12 kilopascals is required for permanent human habitation. With proper acclimatization, the human body can endure impressively thin air. But you still have to come down the mountain eventually. Fact 4. Dehydration. Water is essential for life, but just how much can we lose before it becomes fatal? Believe it or not, people have survived the loss of over 20% of their body's water weight. Loss of over half of total body water is usually lethal. In 1944, 17-year-old British sailor Poon Lim was stranded in the South Atlantic when his ship was sunk by the Germans. Clinging to a life raft, Lim had no water and only a few onions and oranges to eat. He collected rainwater in a canvas bag, but fought constant dehydration for 133 days. In the end, he had lost an estimated 15–20% of his body weight, but miraculously stayed alive. The human body relies on complex systems to maintain fluid balance and blood volume. Dehydration causes headaches, weakness, dizziness and confusion. In cases of severe water loss like Lim's, the kidneys stop producing urine to conserve fluid, and blood volume is maintained via plasma proteins and vessels constricting. It's a precarious state requiring urgent rehydration. Over 50% water loss typically induces shock, organ failure and death. Our bodies can endure significant dehydration, but water is ultimately essential for survival. Fact 5. Sleep deprivation. Just how long can humans go without sleep? In 1964, 17-year-old Randy Gardner stayed awake for 264.4 hours, 11 days, setting the Guinness World Record for the longest scientifically documented period without sleep. Surprisingly, Gardner experienced few ill effects aside from moodiness and paranoia. However, sleep deprivation typically induces fatigue, daytime sleepiness, clumsiness and cognitive deficits. After several sleepless days, microsleeps and loss of consciousness can occur. While lack of sleep may feel torturous, it is very rarely fatal. On the other hand, the longest surviving insomnia patient went 40 years without substantial sleep. The brain responds to chronic deprivation by establishing short naps and inducing hypomanic episodes to offset impaired cognition. While not healthy long-term, humans have a remarkable ability to endure sleep deprivation. Just don't try to break any records. Your brain needs downtime. Well, those are 5 crazy conditions that humans can somehow survive. Our bodies can endure freezing temperatures, scorching heat, thin air, severe dehydration, and lack of sleep under the right circumstances. Don't try this at home, but stay tuned for more unbelievable Eurofacts. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and become an explorer today. Thanks for watching.